Welcome back to another episode of The Persona. This episode is definitely going to be different than the rest. I've always been curious about the lives of others. I am an aspiring journalist. Solving my own curiosity should be my strong suit. It's obvious that everyone lives different lives. No matter how many people I talk to, how many questions I might ask them, or how much I can try to empathize with them and their experiences, I will never fully experience their life. And I find that so fascinating. I think interpretive pieces of media, such as music, books, and movies, would be the closest thing I can get to experiencing another world. For this episode, I would love to dive into why film is so important to pop culture and society, and also see the connection between an individual's favorite film and their personal experiences. Before we get into this episode, I have a question for my viewers. What is a movie that you watched that truly made you feel something? I have been told that this is a very loaded question, so I'll give you some time to ponder.
When you hit a cigarette, typically you're looking for some type of buzz, maybe a buzz that feeds your addiction, or perhaps a buzz that momentarily takes you away from the present moment. I don't usually smoke cigarettes. Of course, I've had the occasional cigarette. I'm only 22 years of age. Can you blame me for being curious? I'm curious as to why people smoke. I'm curious to live the perspective of someone that regularly smokes just for a small moment. Ultimately, I'm curious as to why people do what they do. In no way am I glorifying or romanticizing the use of these thinly rolled cylinders filled with tobacco, but it might feel that way. I just want to step away from my own reality and experience something that usually wouldn't be part of my own routine. Something different. When I think of non-addictive things that can whisk me away to another reality, I immediately think of music and movies. It is so easy to put on a set of headphones, to press play on a film I've seen a million times before, or to walk into the movie theater and walk out feeling brand new, all for a momentary distraction or escape. Sometimes that momentary escape is all we need to just truly feel something. Obviously, films are created for our entertainment, but it's much more than that. Movies are here to inspire, to educate, to inform, to influence, to impact a society. Think of a movie that truly made you feel something. It could be absolutely anything. There are no silly answers. This film can be reflective of your own personal experiences. It could be what you desire to experience. It could be something so outlandish that you are sure you will never experience it. However, whatever your answer is, it is a film that is special to you. It is real to you. Just like when you're watching a movie and the main character experiences something that makes them feel some type of way, and it's usually the main plot of the movie. That experience is true and special to that character. So the next time you're asked what a meaningful movie is to you, don't hesitate. Just feel it.
Movies have always had a major influence on what's currently trending or what people are talking about all over social media. However, before social media existed, popular trends were usually communicated through word of mouth, newspapers, television, and fashion. Entertainment talk shows such as Entertainment Tonight, E! News, and Access Hollywood were once all at the top for news regarding entertainment. Oftentimes, these shows would give us an insider look on what new movies were coming out or what Hollywood actors or actresses were starring in the film. And nowadays, not many people are tuned into those shows, mostly because they don't have to be. With social media, you have all of that information right at your fingertips. With Twitter/X accounts such as Popbase or Film Updates posting daily, people are notified instantly about any pop culture news. This can create major excitement for the film, the actors involved, and mostly the project as a whole. You also have TikTok contributing to this excitement. What is the first thing that you hear when you open that app? Maybe it's a new song that's currently trending on the app.
So when I die, which I might
or a soundbite from a funny video that just went viral.
Oh. Oh. Like,
Other times you hear a soundbite from a film that you have seen or haven't seen before.
just smell the grass, the dirt, just like I dreamed.
I remember when Pearl, starring Mia Goth, came out. I watched the trailer because I saw it on social media. One example being the sound.
oh, I'm a star! Please, I'm a star!
I'm sorry.
And it was all over TikTok at one point. Even today, I see it. If you are telling me you have never seen or heard something circulating on social media and you weren't influenced to watch it or listen to it or whatever it might be, you are lying. Of course, I wish I discovered Pearl on my own just because I am into A24 films and personally I am a film buff, but I did not discover Pearl on my own and that is perfectly okay. It is okay to be influenced. The Pearl example is just one of many instances in which a film has garnered lots of attention and has become a little more mainstream than people would like it to. However, I think that is what contributes to the excitement and appeal of movies. Movie-related trends or internet jokes are a huge part of pop culture today. One example is the meme, "The way men acted when the Joker came out, this is my Joker," about a film that you will never shut up about. For example, I saw somebody say this about Bottoms recently since it just came out maybe a few months ago. And I watched it not too long ago and I'd have to say I agree. When a new movie comes out, I have noticed some type of trend starts. I mean, living in the age of social media, trends start fairly easily. However, these trends usually don't start from the movie's marketing manager, but they start because of the power of social media. Obviously, a movie's marketing team can't just sit back and relax and leave it to social media to promote their movie. Whatever goes viral is honestly up to how well the world receives the film. A recent film that is set to release in November and is a great example of trends generating hype or excitement for a film would be Sofia Coppola's new film, Priscilla. At the moment, one of the most common themes I see on TikTok or social media in general would be the coquette aesthetic and the dark academia aesthetic. A modern artist tied to those trending aesthetics would be Lana Del Rey. She is important to this discussion because her music has left a mark on this generation and interprets how they convey their emotions, specifically young women. Her songs are often used in videos concerning the coquette aesthetic or the dark academia aesthetic, as well as edits with the Priscilla movie. A lot of the movie edits that I have seen with the movie directed by Sofia Coppola often use a Lana Del Rey song. I believe the editors use her songs because Lana is very good at portraying female emotion within her music, just as Sofia Coppola does an amazing job at capturing the female gaze and experience in her films. Seeing this content all over my social media leads me to believe that Priscilla could do fairly well in the box office. Whether it be participating in trends that involve a movie, tweeting about it with your close mutuals, dressing up as your favorite characters, all of these reasons bring people together by common interest and excitement. When you turn a movie on and focus your full attention to what's happening on the screen, you are truly transported to another universe. When you sit there and allow yourself to be taken to the scene that the movie is setting up for you, it is a different movie watching experience. Whether the movie is about a teenage girl experiencing the highs and lows of high school, or maybe a superhero team that constantly saves the world from mass destruction. You are meant to experience what the characters are experiencing without moving an inch. No matter who you are or how old you are, films exist to be experienced. You are meant to escape to the world of the film you are watching right before your eyes. Usually, when you're sad, you might put on your comfort movie. Or maybe you want to make yourself extra sad and you want to feel everything, so you put on a really sad movie. Personally, I've done that many times to release a good cry. However, even if I have put on a movie that has made me even sadder than I was before, I've escaped. I have escaped my own reality and stepped into a brand new one. The next thing I know, I'm no longer crying about how hard my day has been, but instead, I'm sobbing because I am mourning the loss of my favorite character in the film that I put on to distract myself from whatever was making me cry in the first place. Now, when I put on my comfort movie, that is a different story. My comfort movie is probably Shrek 2, or really any of the Shrek movies, including the one nobody really cares about. Personally, I love them all because I love the Shrek movies and I could do a whole series on it. Just like when I put that sad movie on, I step away from my current reality and step into a new one. In this case, it would be Far, Far Away. Another example could be maybe you're having a really bad day and staying inside and watching a movie on your couch would make it even worse. Maybe you really need to get away and get out of the house. Imagine how much better it would feel if you were to go for a walk and just walk to your local movie theater if you live close enough, or if you went for a drive to your closest movie theater. Maybe you see that movie you've been meaning to watch with your friends, but none of your schedules line up. Have you ever thought of going alone? Maybe you make a spontaneous decision to see a movie that you thought looked interesting based off the trailer that you saw a while ago. Or maybe you see a poster that was just visually appealing. You honestly never know what these small decisions could lead to. You could walk out of the theater and feel so inspired and just so excited to tell the first person you see about the movie you just watched. Or you could also walk out of the movie theater giggling at how terrible the movie was. Or you can even be a little upset at how you just wasted your money on a movie you really disliked. Whatever scenario it might be, you had the opportunity to escape to another reality. You got to watch someone other than yourself experience life in a totally different way. Not only do we watch a movie to escape to an unknown world, but we also have the ability to experience a range of emotions and feelings that could be triggered by many aspects of the film. When watching a really good movie, you are meant to develop some sort of feeling or connection towards the characters. This connection doesn't have to be a relatable one, but a connection that makes you feel for the character. You feel a sense of compassion for the characters as you are meant to be put in the shoes of another's life experience. Essentially, that is a huge part of watching movies. Stepping into another's life, even if it's a fictional one, provides another perspective. Oftentimes, when I'm watching a film, I have a different outlook on a situation based off of the events that just transpired on the screen, even if I have never and will never experience what the character has. I have also watched many films that have caused me to reach some type of realization that I never would have gotten to had I not watched those films. For example, when I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, I was so touched. It made me realize that there are so many possibilities in life. Although this movie had its moments of silliness, the message was so powerful. When I have my moments where I'm sad and I feel like the whole world is just crashing down on me, I remember that life will move on. Rather than dwelling on the past or what could have been, I should move forward because it's all we can do to be better. If anything is possible, then nothing matters. There are so many layers to that film, and different people can take different things from it. Everyone can resonate with the film without having to relate to the plot. You can take absolutely anything from a film. Even if you are unable to relate to a character's story in a literal sense, maybe you can find that relatability in how a scene in the film made you feel, or maybe just the film as a whole. Maybe the music played during a scene took you back to a personal memory that you have. Maybe the euphoric feeling a teenage character felt during a scene reminded you of how you felt as a teenager. Maybe the editing style of the film reminded you of how you felt when you had your very first kiss. Every aspect of a movie is meant to make you feel some type of way. I would love to use this time for Pillow Talk. Like I said before, everyone can interpret a story differently. They could also relate differently than the next person can. Regardless, that film left an impact on you. I asked a few people to talk about a film that really stuck with them and why. I feel like an episode about movies would be incomplete without having different people and hearing what movies are meaningful to them and why.
Hi, my name is Gigi, and the film that I'll be discussing today is called Before Sunrise.
On his way to Vienna, American Jesse meets Celine, a student returning to Paris. After long conversations forge a surprising connection between them, Jesse convinces Celine to get off the train with him in Vienna. Since his flight to the US departs the next morning and he has no money for lodging, they wander the city together, taking in the experiences of Vienna and each other. As the night progresses, their bond makes separating in the morning a difficult choice.
It was at the end of my freshman year of college. At the time, it was when the pandemic first occurred, so unfortunately I was stuck at home, had not much to do. It was the peak of remote life. I had just finally been able to have a year where I could leave the box that was my hometown and explore different areas. And I went to college in 2 places that year. The second place I was at, I just felt so belonging there, and I really enjoyed my time that when it was cut short due to the pandemic, I was very upset, and it made me realize, yeah, I just don't want to stay in this box that is my hometown for forever. This really influenced the way I felt when I was watching Before Sunrise. It made me feel as if I had FOMO. Like, it made me feel as if I was really missing out on having an experience like that. And yes, it's a movie, and yes, movies are not realistic. I think possibilities like that are definitely, feasible. Like, it's possible to have an experience like that. The movie really went to go and show that it's not about how much time you have. It's what you do with that time, what happens during that time. It made me feel FOMO in that way that I want to do that. I want to go to these places, travel, meet people there, build these connections, be able to explore brand new places, brand new people, and open my mind, like expand my horizons mentally as to what what I believe in, what I'm aware of, what I acknowledge, and so forth. Also a reason why the movie left an impact on me. At the time I was in a place in my life where I knew I wanted to do something at one point and explore and go to new places, try new things, expand my horizons, and it just influenced that more. Plus the fact that it had a great romance plot, which I will always eat up. It made me emotional at the end. It made me want what they had. It made me want to go on a train in the middle of Europe and meet somebody and jump off the next stop and be like, hey, let's just start anew and get to know each other and get to know this place and do it all together. If you love a good romance, you should definitely watch this. It's an amazing story, especially if you're in your 20s. Beautiful story about these 2 lovers and how they really develop their relationship. And if you're someone who also loves to see a plot that involves exploration or young people exploring themselves and exploring their independence, their lives, their codependence with other people, their connections or whatnot, it's a beautiful movie to watch in that aspect. It's one of my favorites. There's many others that I'm also obsessed with, love throughout time. I've always been a really big movie buff since I was a kid. And it's beautiful storytelling. From the first movie to the last movie. That's my opinion on Before Sunrise. Thank you.
My name is EJ. I'll be talking about Moonlight.
A look at 3 defining chapters in the life of Chiron, a young Black man growing up in Miami. His epic journey to manhood is guided by the kindness, support, and love of the community that helps raise him.
I watched this movie during quarantine. I was 18 years old. Well, I was a senior in high school, COVID ended my senior year early, so I was kind of in a weird middle spot. I felt like I was done with school, but I didn't feel like I had crossed a milestone or something. I was in a weird medium space. mentally. I wasn't doing anything. I was just like in the house. So yeah, I was just like dissociated for like a couple of months until I watched Moonlight. Not to get too dramatic, but it made me feel hope. The way that it approaches, you know, the topic of kind of sensitivity and masculinity, yeah, it was just really fresh and really new for me. It struck me in a way where not in like a this is the most mind-bending thing you've ever watched, but in a more kind of queer, soft way of, you know, hitting you in the chest. I think Moonlight has left an impact on me just because of, you know, all of its themes and the way it just beautifully handles everything. You know, it kind of presents you with like multiple love stories through Chiron around the central themes of, you know, sensitivity, masculinity, and love. And yeah, I think all of that kind of brought me out of my stupor, out of my dissociative state, and kind of sparked kind of like a line of thinking that allowed me to start understanding my own sexuality and gender identity and my own kind of experiences and thoughts on masculinity, I guess. I don't think I would have been able to do that if I didn't watch Moonlight. Watching Moonlight at that time is just kind of forever cemented for me, like that association between the film and that time in my life. Moonlight feels very personal to me, I guess. It found me at a strange time in history and like, you know, my own personal life. If you're looking for a different type of coming-of-age film that comes from a non-white, non-heteronormative perspective and is also beautiful and visually stunning, beautiful soundtrack, go watch Moonlight. I would also say if you have mother issues, father issues, if you're questioning yourself, you know, I would say go watch Moonlight. It's very human. It doesn't treat the humanity of its characters lightly, I'll say. So if you're looking for that, if you're looking to get punched in the heart, watch Moonlight.
Hi y'all! My name is Maddie, and I'm going to be talking about the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once.
When an interdimensional rupture unravels reality, an unlikely hero must channel her newfound powers to fight bizarre and bewildering dangers from the multiverse as the fate of the world hangs in the balance.
About a year ago, a year and a half, it wasn't too far after it actually came out that I was like, fuck, everybody's talking about this movie, like I gotta go see it. I was 21 at the time. What I was going through in my life at the time is what every single early 20-something-year-old feels. It's like, what the fuck am I doing? You're at that stage where you're like, well, I'm not a child, but also I quite literally am a toddler just learning how to walk in adulting. You're questioning everything about yourself. You're like, am I even the person that I want to be? Am I taking the right steps to be the person that I want to be? Am I doing anything right? What the fuck is happening? I mean, I'd feel like that's generally what every 20-something-year-old feels. And then also, you know, issues that I was trying to like rebuild with my mom. When I watched this movie, it fucking ruined me. In the best way though, because this movie made me feel validated in every single way, because I'm like, okay, I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, everything that I'm doing is supposed to happen for a reason. So I'm not on the wrong path. I'm not the wrong person I want to be. Everything is going to be fine. I wanted to sob and contemplate life in the universe for hours, and then at the end of that, after I'm done spiraling, call my mom and tell her that I love her. What emotion didn't you feel? That's the thing. That's the question to be asked. What emotion did you not feel? Because it makes you laugh, it makes you cry, it makes you ponder about life. It makes you feel like you're not fucking crazy for not knowing what the fuck you're doing. It's the most like mind-boggling fucking movie out there. Like, it's not like a mind fuck. Really, it's not like a psychological thriller. It's just one of those movies where like after it ends, you're like, whoa, I'm so used to my little problems in my little life that I'm always stressed about. And it's like whenever you step back for a second and think, I'm such a small person on a huge floating rock in the middle of a fucking universe that we don't even know how big it is, makes you realize that that's what everybody else is going through. And it kind of reminds me, you know, that like that tweet on Twitter, or I guess X now, guys around 25 years old, whenever they take shrooms for the first time, they have like an ego death, but really it's just them discovering empathy. That's what this movie was for me. Like, this movie is my fucking Roman Empire, because like I will just have random moments throughout the day where I'm like, damn, that's such a good movie. It hits everything. It's romantic, it's funny, it has suspenseful moments, it's got action in it, it makes you fucking cry, it makes you think about life, it makes you think about the universe. It just truly at its like raw core is just so human. And I think there's just something so comforting about that, because at the end of the day, none of us really know what the fuck we're supposed to be doing, or if this is the best version of ourselves. But at the end of the day, if you think about it, we're all just humans trying to figure out shit. And it's just so validating and comforting to know that, and just knowing that everybody has their person, again, whether it's platonic or soulmate, or even just like family members, you know, friends, whatever it is. It's just nice knowing that, like, even if you're not somebody that believes in like different, you know, multiple universe, you know, type of thing, it's nice knowing that wherever you end up, you know that your person's going to be right there next to you every single time. Good thing I've already done this multiple times. I've never given anybody context of what the movie's about. You just have to watch it. It's just such the human experience movie. I truly believe it's made for everybody, but I truly think if you're in your early 20s and up, come on, you need to watch it. It's so good. Thank you so much for allowing my dumbass to talk about a movie that I'm very passionate about. I love that movie and you should watch it.
I hope you were able to take this episode and think about all the amazing films that left an impact on you in some way. Like I always say, this show is about discussions, so let's have them. If you would like to discuss your favorite movies in the comments below, please do, because I would love to hear from you. I would love to see the show grow, so please show your support by liking this video and subscribing. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm your host, Zoe Shaw.